the only podcast that loves your faces and your butts. This is Bombers.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Bombers podcast. I am Bomber number 5, Anthony, aka Deg, with me here today, I don't know why I said you, is Bomber number 3, Xiber, aka Xiber.
No, you're right. I'm right behind you.
Ah. You were talking to the audience, weren't you?
Yes.
I understand now because I turned around and there was no one behind me. And, most important and excitingly, we have our amazing, spectacular, super hot, special guest, Admiral Plays. How's it going, Admiral?
I don't know how true any of that is, but it's going all right, man. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. This should be a fun listen. I don't know. First things first, Xiber, if you would, get the standards out of the way.
Yeah, hold on, I just yawned for like 10 seconds.
Already bored. Okay, off to a great start.
See, told you, not the most exciting.
Well, let's just get the bombastic news, everyone's favorite segment of the episode, out of the way. You can go to our website at thisisbombers.com to find out information about any of our projects that we're doing here. Of course, we got our podcast that you're currently listening to. We have our Discord server, link in the description below, where you can interact with us in our community. We currently have Album of the Week Club started back up. We're going to talk about the album that Dag forced us all to listen to.
Yeah, forced. That's a good album.
And we'll be, Game Club is actually starting now, right?
Yeah, basically, as you're listening to this, Game Club will have been started up. The first game for October is Pony Island, available on Steam for like $5. It is a good, fun, short, spoopy game for October, so definitely you should check that out and give it a play.
Nice. And then we got Twitch as well, where you can watch us play games. Were you going to be playing Pony Island at some point?
We are absolutely going to be playing Pony Island on stream for those that are unable to actually play it. And going forward, all of our Game Club games will be streamed at a time that I will decide in the future.
All right, still coming up with the date and time, so we'll get back to you on that. You can also see us on YouTube, where we post our podcast for those who enjoy listening to it on YouTube. We also like to try to post snippets of our streams if possible, so go check that out. You can also see us on Twitter, where we post updates on when the podcast release and sometimes other things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can join our Patreon and give us some money. Be a friend, best friend, acquaintance, executive bomb-deucer, not in that order.
Or in that order.
Or in that, well, yeah, if you really want to be weird, do all 4 of those things at once, in that order.
No, like 1 month to the month, just change what your tier is.
I gotcha. Yeah, we like to be able to spend money to keep improving our show and all the other kind of stuff we do, so if you like this stuff, become a friend. Get into the Only Friends chat in our server, where you can see pictures of animals and sometimes steak during our recordings.
I see that face Admiral's making. He likes that joke.
God damn
it. Shout outs to our current best friend, Rob, and our friends Haley, Aaron, and Reaper, and our acquaintances. Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. We love you. That's me now, isn't it? I have to do upcoming releases.
Yep, that's typically how it goes.
Yeah, that is. You'd think I'd learn eventually. All right.
No.
Upcoming releases for this week. There are a few here, and at least one of them is going to be a very interesting discussion. On October 4th, Tuesday, tomorrow, we have Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo, which is a game that has been out on the PC for a while. It is getting a release on the Switch, the PlayStation 4 and 5, the Xbox, and Xbox One. This is an interesting little adventure game nominally, as you can tell, based off of the Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo film and like his entire filmography, essentially. When I was looking at it, it really, to me, struck me to be similar to Alan Wake. So if you played Alan Wake and enjoyed it, maybe take a look at this. I know, Admiral, you played some Alan Wake recently, gearing up for the second one coming up, right?
I did, in fact. I did start it up. I have not finished this playthrough of it, but I did start it back up.
Yeah, I had been playing through Control, which takes place in the same universe as Alan Wake, and that game was very fun, but then I took too long of a break from it and couldn't go back. But that kind of like weird semi-timeline hopping, what's going on, did I even ever have a wife that died in that car crash or not type of thing, is the central premise of this Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo as well.
Oh, okay. I love that.
Yeah, it looked interesting.
Yeah, maybe check it out.
Definitely something.
It is something, for sure.
I don't really care for the character art style, but
the aesthetics of it are unique, to say the least. It's very Tales of the Borderland-esque to me, like that Telltale semi cel-shaded-ish, cartoon-ish look to it.
I mean, like the main character just has dead eyes, which could be on purpose, but it's still not fun to see.
It's probably on purpose, and it might even purposefully be not fun to see, but that still doesn't make it fun to see.
Yeah.
And then also on October 4th, Tuesday, tomorrow, is another game that is coming out for PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Nintendo Switch. Overwatch 2.
Which I cannot wait for.
Yeah.
I am so stoked.
I am such the opposite of you right now, unfortunately.
Why is that? You must tell me.
Well, let's provide some background here for the audience, which is Admiral and I became friends because we randomly grouped up in the first Overwatch back in, I think, 2016 when it first came out.
Way back then. Like, it was like the first, like, couple weeks that the game was out.
It was super early in the game. Now, we had a lot of fun back then. Overwatch 1 in those early days was fantastic.
But then
eventually
the game kind of just died and stopped being fun.
I still play Overwatch 1. I won't apologize for it.
And now with Overwatch 2, honestly, a lot of the decisions that Blizzard has been making with the way that they're rolling the game out is kind of doesn't sit right with me.
Like requiring your phone number?
What? Is that something that I didn't even know about yet?
Yeah, you like, I don't know if it's like a 4 or 2 factor or something, but like you have to give your phone number and it has to match the region that your game account is in.
Interesting.
I understand. Okay, now I know where our discussion's going. We're just going to be talking about Overwatch 2 for an hour.
For a while, apparently.
Oh, I mean, man.
That's an interesting choice, because you can just make Google Voice numbers for any region, basically.
That is true.
It doesn't really do anything for quote-unquote region locking the game.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like a way to stop people from, passing bans or something, but you can still do that too. Just get a different phone number.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, so like I get what they're trying to do. It is a poor choice, but I get what they're trying to do. Like, but like, okay, so what other things are you like upset about with that? Like that they're rolling out?
Overwatch 2 is basically Overwatch 1 again. It's
wrong.
The same. No, it's
just inherently wrong.
It's got all like they have the whole two. Well, if you have Overwatch 1, then you can play Overwatch 2 with all the Overwatch 1 heroes. But if you don't have Overwatch 1, you have to play 100 matches to unlock the Overwatch 1 heroes.
It's not play 100 matches. It would be it's play 100 matches to earn enough currency to unlock those heroes.
Well, there you go. There's another problem: is the currency to unlock heroes.
That is the free-to-play model for every hero-based game out there right now.
I mean, can you just get Overwatch 1 for cheap?
Only if you buy it like a week ago when this releases.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of it.
You have to buy it before the official release.
I
of
actually
Overwatch
think
2.
if you buy the $40 edition of Overwatch 2, you get all the heroes, but I could be wrong there.
Yes, the $40 version comes with a copy of like the Origins edition of the first Overwatch.
So, you would still get some of those older skins and stuff like that, but like that model of like you have to play X number of games to earn the currency to unlock, that's every free-to-play hero arena game on the market. Every single one of them.
Which you may not realize that I don't play any of those.
I get that. I do. I just that argument. I watched. I read an article about that too, and I was like, this is just not correct, because they're like, oh, it takes away from like the meta strategy. I'm like, no, it just means you have to play longer before you can start doing what the big boys do. That's it.
It just means you have to play stuff that's not fun until you can start having fun.
Well, I mean, I would hope that the meta would be different, because otherwise there would be less of a point of it existing.
The meta is so much different than it used to be. Taking it down from 6v6 to 5v5 was the best thing they could have done for that game. The absolute best thing.
I agree that at least that seems like a healthy decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already had to defend to a bunch of people, why Splatoon 3 was worth it 5 years after Splatoon 2 came out and such, so I can't really say much on whether Overwatch 2 is, a game worth it from Overwatch 1.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole free-to-play model in general, I generally don't care for in most games, so that's already like a bar to overcome to convince me to play the game to begin with.
I don't know, you got like Apex Legends where is that free to play?
It is. Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought there was an initial cost.
And that is a reasonable comparison to make as far as the free to play. You have to do X amount of things to unlock the additional heroes type stuff.
And specifically, I think people like me that only play ranked, it's not going to affect them much anyways. And if you really look at what Overwatch used to be and what it will continue to be, especially when it becomes a free-to-play game, because that's when you get more toxic players than you used to have, is that there's, like, you remember, there's so many people that just insta-lock the same hero. They only have, like, 800 hours on one hero. There's, like, 20 minutes on somebody else. It's the same thing. Like, it nothing changes because, like, nobody is going to switch anyways. So, like, limiting the number of heroes just means they have less of a chance of just starting a new account and instantly having the character that they want to hop in a rank with and annoy people with.
Because they would just need to get enough currency for one character than the character that they want.
Or just do the microtransaction to buy that character.
Right.
Which it's a free-to-play game, so it's cheaper to buy a single character than to buy Overwatch again, which a bunch of people were doing when they got banned anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's other stuff involved with Blizzard as a company that I don't feel like getting into on the podcast for reasons of our rules.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just leave it at that. It has less to do with the actual title of Overwatch 2 and more to do with the overarching situation.
Yeah.
Understood.
Well, for people who do get Overwatch 2, tell us about it. Is it good? Is it better than Halo Infinite?
Well, that's an awkward comparison to make on its own.
Is it better than Apex Legends 2?
Apex Legends as well?
Actually, Apex Legends, I guess, is like the third game.
Well, yeah, there's Titanfall, Titanfall 2, and then Apex Legends.
Yeah.
Technically. Which is a shame. I actually really liked Titanfall 2, and I wish that they hadn't turned it into Apex Legends.
I mean, Titanfall 2 existed, but then, like, people destroyed the servers, and they were just like, we don't feel like fixing it.
Yeah, a bunch of whiny baby gamers were mad that Apex existed and ruined Titanfall 2 as some way of being mad at Apex. I don't quite understand what that whole debacle was about.
Well, I guess it's just like the Star Wars people who boycotted the Han Solo movie because something completely unrelated to that movie.
Yeah. I mean,
fans are weird.
Fans are weird. When it comes down to it with Overwatch 2, I bought the first Overwatch back in 2016 when the game came out, so I have all of that stuff. More than likely, at some point, Admiral will make me play it with him.
Do it.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, like, I will be my grumpy, curmudgeonly self, but it'll happen. It's Bob's Burgers. Well, fine, I'll go, but I'm gonna complain about it the whole time.
It's not the power of friendship anymore. It's just the power of peer pressure.
Honestly.
Yeah, I don't think that's a Bob's Burger thing. I think that's just a Dag thing.
Well, yes, it is also a deck thing, but I was thinking there's that one specific screen grab. I guess. Well, that's a good question out there for the audience, for our friends and fans. Are you excited about Overwatch 2? Are you planning to play Overwatch 2? Did you play Overwatch 1? Who didn't play Overwatch 1, honestly, at this point?
I haven't.
Well, I knew that was the answer.
Honestly, I don't think most of our community is into that game, so...
Yeah, probably not when I think about the people that we have. But maybe we'll grow into some if Admiral keeps twisting my arm. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
So what's coming out Friday?
And then Friday, October 7th, the Switch edition of No Man's Sky is getting released. There's a game that I'm surprised isn't already on Switch with as old as it is.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're still actively doing anything with that game.
That's the real truth, honestly. Like, everyone's all like, oh no, it's good now. And I continually say, it's too late.
Yeah.
They got the bad press.
Well,
and like...
With the Switch, this is their chance of having people that didn't see that press get into the game.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. My big thing about that game is the people that are like, it's good now. I'm like, yeah, it's good when you sacrifice the entire point of what the game was about, because now it's like, oh, base building on the planets that you like. And it's like, okay, so now you have no reason to leave that planet. And if you do, you're leaving behind all that hard work you just did. So
what's up?
Yeah, like, is it really?
That's like when I get bored of a mobile game and just move on because I built a big base. Let's move on to a new mobile game.
Done. Yeah.
Of course, for me, like I don't care about the exploration factor of No Man's Sky anyway. So everyone being like, "Oh, it's gonna be amazing," I'm just all like, I would get so bored.
It's No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous are like those space sim style games where it seems like it would be interesting, but then it also seems just really boring.
Yeah, it's the kind of game that grabs you for like, one day, like, and it has you for that one day, and then you turn it off, and then you go back the next day, you're like, okay, there's no, I think I've seen enough.
What was I doing? I continually want to get back into Elite Dangerous, but it's just one of those grindy style games where I'm like, can I just pay real money to skip the grind? Like, for once, I'm the one asking this question. I would like to get to the fun part of the game, thank you.
Well, as a JRPG hater, that does sound like you, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I did pay money to skip Final Fantasy XIV all the way up to Edge Walker or whatever it's called.
Endwalker.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess
I did that.
I guess I am that person. Oh, but
to be fair, A Realm Reborn was like the worst time to be playing that game, and I sunk so many hours into it.
If you must know, Realm Reborn is the only one that I basically actually played my way through.
Yeah, he got all the way to Heavensward, and then...
I didn't do the in-between story between Realm Reborn and Heavensward.
Okay, well, that's actually the worst part.
Yeah. I finished a Realm Reborn and went, so how much is it to skip to the end? Like $20-$30? Yeah, money well spent. Let's go.
Yeah, believe it or not,
I never played it again.
Believe it or not, I actually used to play before it became A Realm Reborn. I used to play that with my boy Pyro, unrelated, but you used to not even be able to jump in that game.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to think. I think I first picked it up in 2017, which I believe was Realm Reborn at that point.
Yeah, it was.
It didn't grab me back then. And this time, at least I have people play with, which has made it more fun. But I'm in it to play with people. I could not give two flips about the story.
Yeah. The alpha and beta test for the original Final Fantasy XIV before, like when they released it, was in September 2010. And then they didn't re-release it as A Realm Reborn for quite a few years later.
It was a while.
It's an old game. I gotta remind myself it was 14. It's not the latest Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
Well, even then, we're only on what, like 16 now?
Yeah, it's been a while since they released 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, we're probably due for more information coming up soon about some Final Fantasy stuff. We just had Valkyrie Elysium came out this past week.
I think they showed a bit of 16 at TGS, just posters and stuff.
Yeah, just simple teasing, like, hey, we're working on it type stuff.
Yeah. Well, I figured they had to pivot pretty hard after the very mixed reception of 15.
No, the pivot was just let Nomura deal with Kingdom Hearts. Get other directors, guys.
Yeah, get more directors.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Nomura. It's like, oh, look, a new game, and Nomura's directing it. Why? I like him, but please give him a break.
Sleep. Let him sleep. Did you, Xiber, ever finish, what was it, Stranger of Paradise was the one?
Oh yeah, we finished that, although we haven't gone to do any of the DLC yet. They've had 2 of the DLC packs come out so far.
And then there was, isn't the Crisis Core remake coming up?
Yeah, that comes out in December.
So
Haley and I plan on getting the day off.
Of course. Yeah,
it'll be the very first day off for a video game that I've ever had.
Now, is this an actual full release of that remake, or is this another Final Fantasy VII situation where they don't release the whole game?
It is a full release.
Okay, cool. Because believe it or not, Crisis Core was the first video game to make me cry.
Nice. Yeah, this is a more proper remake. I don't know, they might change the ending, but otherwise everything about it looks the same as the original game, just better.
I would offer my POV on that, but it would be spoilers for the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah, that's the biggest question now is it in the universe of the Final Fantasy VII remake, or is it an actual remake of Crisis Core?
I am willing to put a small amount of money down that it will be within the remake universe, not the original.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, it could be. In that case, you'd only really need to make one difference.
But that does seem to be the route that will probably end up going. I tried the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I didn't enjoy it.
Sad. I didn't buy it, but then Haley was just like, here's my copy, and then I platinumed it because I actually really enjoyed it.
Well, it's on... It was either at one point offered on PS Plus, or it was one of the, if you buy a PS5, you get the games.
It was on PS Plus, and then I think they finally gave us the PS5 version for free as well if you got the PS Plus version.
Oh, good. I mean, good for people that want it, but not for me.
It was nice for us because then we could just download the PS5 version and didn't have to use the disc anymore.
Yeah. Fair.
So yeah, No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that's what that conversation was about. It's coming out on the Switch. Oh man, No Man's Sky and Sea of Thieves were the two dead on arrival games.
Oh my gosh!
They fixed, but nobody cares.
Well, the issue with Sea of Thieves, I saw it. I'm just like, oh, this would be so amazing, and then I found out that it was mainly a PvP thing. Where, you can't even run away from people. They will chase you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, I just want a fun pirate game where I can play with my friends and go loot skeleton pirates. I mean, I ended up getting it because I found some people who are into the game, and I did enjoy it, except for the PvP part. It's we went through a bunch of skeleton pirate islands. We fought krakens and the colossal shark, whatever they're called. Megalodons, yeah. And then right before we get to base to whatever with all the stuff we got, we get attacked by people.
And that's not fun.
No.
Yeah.
It's like people can just be all like, oh, hey, I'm going to just blow up the bottom of your ship, and even if we don't get the stuff, at least you won't have it either.
Rude. Yeah. I got it as part of PC Game Pass and fiddled around with it a little bit and went, this might be fun with friends, but I don't have any.
Nope, you don't have any friends.
Getting
What
angry
the
looks
fuck
from
am I?
both of you.
No, I'm just approving look from me, actually.
Similar.
Yeah. Me and, of course, Goose play the hell out of that game. So if you ever do want to try it with friends.
Well, here's the catch. As with most games, someone has to annoy me to play it, because I'm not usually the one that's going, hey, play with me.
That is fair.
It's great as I think I have like almost all the games I've seen you play on streams. So it's just like I just need Dig to get the games.
Mm-hmm.
Which games? I'll do it. You just gotta convince me.
Well, Sea of Thieves,
Have it.
Dead by Daylight. Is that
Have
the
it.
game?
Mhm.
Oh, you do? Oh, what do you
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
I've heard you
speaking
play
of a game
it.
that I'm playing again.
Yeah, I saw that you recently picked it up again and were like, actually having fun?
Bro, yeah, I was. And, like, God, I just can't quit that game. It is so unfortunate.
That's fun. The one time I played it, I got massacred by the monsters.
The killer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the killer found me just straight up 3 times in a row, and I'm just like, are you, like, purposely trying to find me? And then there was one time where we were doing bad, and the killer actually let me try to finish repairing whatever thingy, but I failed, and then he's just like, oh, and then he killed me.
Never mind, you suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DBD, to me, is most fun when you're doing a kill your friends and everybody's on voice together and you're joking around and goofing off.
Yeah. Throwback to the
So.
time that I was murdered for a bag of Charms blow pops in a Survive with Friends game. or Kill Your Friends game.
Good to know.
Survive your friends.
Yeah, Survive Your Friends.
I try. Push him down, run.
Huh, I
Also-
don't need to be faster than the killer. I just need to be faster than you.
Bye-bye.
Remember when I would go on vacations with my family, my dad would say that. He's just all like, yeah, I just have to push one of you down, then my mom and dad can escape.
That's nice. That's how parenting works.
That's fine. We'll be the bear food for you.
Let's, now that we've finished talking about No Man's Sky, let's
Move on to weekly bombs.
let's do some weekly bomb where we have some recent news items and we determine if they are the bomb, yeah, awesome, the bomb, or a bomb. I pulled up some news items here that we can talk about. First of all, did you see that Deadpool 3 got announced, has a release date, and will be starring Hugh Jackman as Wolverine once again?
I did see that.
I did see that.
I love it. I'm super excited for it. And I am entirely unsurprised that Ryan Reynolds was able to convince Hugh Jackman to come back.
Oh yeah, I mean they're like best buds, but
Yep.
I did see that one of the big controversies around that was a bunch of angry fanboys being like, "Well, it cheapens the ending of the Wolverine."
No, it doesn't. It's completely
That's what I
unrelated.
Yeah.
That's what I said. But so many people.
It cheapens the end. Shut up.
That'd be like Xavier in the Multiverse of Madness cheapening any of the X-Men movies. Like, no.
But that's not how that works, guys.
I'm very interested though to see exactly how they're going to handle it, because it is Deadpool 3, but it's also the first Deadpool MCU film. So what are they doing for the universe colliding type stuff? Because all of the old Fox X-Men stuff is canon to the first 2 Deadpools. And if Deadpool 3 becomes canon to the MCU, does that make all of that stuff canon as well?
Well, with Deadpool, it could just be fourth wall breaks, it doesn't matter.
Cover it up. I did see some people were like, I am being bad journalism. They're bringing bring in She-Hulk as well for all of the fourth wall breaking shenanigans.
I still need to see Deadpool too.
Tatiana Maslany, that's right. That's the actress's name. Bring her in to play She-Hulk in this, and that could be very entertaining.
Yeah, actually, when I first saw the Deadpool 3 news, it was just saying that Hugh Jackman was going to be in it, not necessarily as Wolverine. So then Haley's all like, oh, that would be so great if he was literally just Hugh Jackman in the movie.
That would make it even better, I'm not going to lie. Did either of you actually watch the announcement trailer that was posted to Ryan Reynolds' Twitter? Because it's really funny.
I did.
I've seen like the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds on the couch. We need to find something to do, make it different, and I no idea. And then Hugh Jackman walks by in the background. Hey, Hugh, want to play Wolverine again? Yeah, sure, Ryan. Spectacular. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is the bomb. This is gonna be great. I am very excited for this film.
Yeah, can't imagine it being a bomb.
No. But one thing that is kind of a bomb on the surface, but I'm going to end up calling it the bomb preemptively, so be prepared for this, is the next full article that I've pulled up for you. Google has announced that the Stadia is done. They're officially shutting down everything related to the Google Stadia starting in January of 2023.
Yep, they're saying that they still absolutely love their idea and think that it's the future, but just not enough people are interested in it right now.
Yep. It didn't have the traction with users that they expected, and they had to make the, quote, difficult decision to begin winding down the Stadia streaming.
Was it really that difficult of a decision?
I mean, they did put a lot of money into it.
They're about to put more money into it because they've announced that they are going to be refunding all Stadia hardware purchases and all game and add-on content purchases that were made through the Stadia store. So if you purchased any form of Stadia something or another from the Stadia store, it'll be refunded. Now, if you purchased any Stadia stuff elsewhere, you're SOL basically. But all the official Google Store stuff is getting refunded. Because again, the Stadia is a streaming thing. If they don't have the streaming service active, it is a worthless chunk of plastic.
Yeah, so that's actually really amazing that they're doing that, though. Because, you know, we have so many other instances of, I mean...
You paid for this thing, and now it doesn't exist, and too bad.
Yeah, recently Final Space is getting taken down of everything.
Yep. That was the one I was about to talk about. Final Space is being removed from Amazon Prime. Not that you can't buy it anymore, but if you have bought it, they're removing it from your library. Which is disgusting, frankly.
Yep.
And, weird to say this, good on you, Google.
Yeah.
I think, the Stadia is interesting, because on one hand, I do understand that, like, that streaming service type stuff, as much as I hate it and rail against it, it is obviously the way of the future, and I will resist it and buy physical as much as I can. But that's where everything's going. They just happened, the Stadia was a little bit too early on that, and that's why it didn't gain that traction, because there are enough people like me saying, hi, this is a stupid and dumb idea.
I mean, it does sound like a brilliant concept, although I probably would have it where it's similar to, you know, Game Pass or Netflix or whatever, where, you know, you're not actually buying the content to stream it. You're paying a subscription to be able to stream whatever they currently have. And then that right there, then they wouldn't have to, you know, refund people, except for the Stadia box, I guess, if they still felt like it.
Yeah. That's actually, like, what I was going to bring up, is that, if it was going to work for somebody like me, I would rather, like, you know, if I bought the Stadia itself, get, like, you know, $15 a month to be able to play the games that are on it. Or it'd be like, you know, I'll pay $45 a month to not have to purchase the box. Like, give me options instead of having to put a bunch of money up front for something that we all as gamers saw it and we're like, I give it a year.
Dumb. Yeah.
But just based on how I was having internet issues myself just today, it's just like, well, I can't trust a certain ISP or a lot of certain ISPs to be able to run this thing well.
Yeah,
and that's us in America.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like, we all know that internet is unstable as a mofo. Could you imagine like just being like, oh, I can't play video games because ISP X is down right now? Like, great.
Yeah, it's one thing to not be able to play online or be able to download a new game, but like I have physical copies or games already downloaded I can play right now without internet.
Exactly. Internet's down, I will play one of the thousands of games that I have anyway. It was too early. The Stadia still needed those interim steps of the things like Game Pass and PS Now or whatever they're calling it, or just the general download semi-streaming. I mean, Switch has its cloud gaming, which is streaming gaming in a handheld fashion. Basically, the Stadia through a different route, but it can also just play games.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if Google finished their fiber and had that going, then maybe they'd be able to have the Stadia use their internet.
What? Google doesn't finish projects they start? Never.
It's just another...
Well, that's just an ISP issue there. None of them ever finish.
It's another item added to the stack of projects that Google started, didn't support, and then killed.
Have they come up with a VR thing yet? Maybe they could try that next.
No, I mean, they had the Google Glass, which was AR, not VR.
Right.
I mean, honestly, AR is also a thing that could be good. So keep trying that, Google. We need someone to go work on that.
I mean, like, credit where credit is due to a degree. Google tends to fail because they're being the pioneers. They set the groundwork, and then someone comes along and does it better because Google failed.
So did they do or driverless cars too? I think they did some of that.
I don't know. That would be something to look up. Hey, audience.
Hey, Google.
Hey, Google. Did you do driverless cars?
Yeah, that's what Waymo is. Formerly the Google self-driving car project.
Yeah, that was like really popular like 8 years ago or so, and then
and they're still around. I see them all the time.
Technically still exist.
I see them all the time.
Formed in 2009, they just appointed a new CEO in 2021.
Yeah, I see them on my route to work all the time. So
interesting. I don't particularly buy into the self-driving car stuff, but I'm glad that people are working on it because it's a technology that eventually will be very cool, and right now is terrifying.
I mean, like, I would totally trust self-driving cars on interstates and such. It's just
not city driving.
Yeah.
What I would love to see, and this is potentially sketchy for our content, but what I would love to see is instead of focusing on self-driving cars, how about we get some, public transit infrastructure in place?
Jetpacks. Right?
Like, okay, we could spend all of this money making cars, or we could just build trains that already exist and are better. And you don't have to research them.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
As somebody that lives in a very horizontal, sprawling city, I can get around that.
Yeah. Anyways, as I said before we even got on this, I believe that the way in which they are handling the death of the Google Stadia is the bomb. The Stadia itself is, of course, a bomb.
Yeah, and it has been for a while.
At least now we can finally stop saying that games are coming out on it.
Or we could just keep doing that because it will be funny.
No Man's Sky coming out on Nintendo Switch and Stadia.
Or this game coming out for Nintendo Switch and not on the Stadia.
Oh, it's coming to the Ouya though. Interesting.
The Ouya. Oh boy.
But is it on the N-Gage?
Man, Engage.
It's on
Talk about something that was also ahead of its time.
No, it's actually coming out on Soldier Boy's console.
Oh, the Soldier console. Forgot about that.
Oh my fucking god.
And Game Gear was ahead of its time too. I mean, so was the Virtual Boy itself. So
Yeah.
All hail the Virtual Boy.
Bringer of great migraines.
I love the color.
Oh boy.
Can we bring
Then
the power glove back too while we're talking about things like this?
Oh, it's so bad. Yes. This last news item is Pokemon related. A new announcement came out for a new I don't know if it's
Diglett.
a regional variant or an actual new Pokemon, because I haven't looked that deeply into it. But for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the Pokemon Company has revealed the new Pokemon Wiglett. Admiral, go ahead and give me a Google of Wiglett.
It's like, which I have not seen.
Yeah.
That is the big thing. Because I was told I should not look it up until
You should see this.
what the fuck is that?
That's Wiglett.
Oh god.
The worm Diglett.
The eel Diglett. The garden
It's-
eel.
Yeah, it's a garden eel Diglett.
That is not what I see when I look at that.
Does it make you slightly uncomfortable?
Look, man, I don't know how far into reproductive processes we're allowed to talk about, but damn, does it remind me of something involving it.
Wiglett pokes a part of his body out of the sand to feed in the ocean. It's unclear what the rest of the body in the sand is like, how long it might be. Oh.
I mean, we don't know what
You
Diglett
just
looks
start
like.
pulling and just more and more comes out.
My question is the Wiglett just a Diglett that is pushing itself further out, and that's what the Diglets look like too?
I sure hope not. I'd rather not believe that that's the case.
Is a Wiglett like those buff Diglett photos that you see a lot, except it just has a really long neck?
So it does say that it's a completely different species to Diglett.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's better or worse. I'm not gonna lie. I want fan art that is the buff Diglett, but with a Wiglett head and the super long neck poking out. I want that. I need that.
What's really great is that you can still think that the nose is a mouth.
It looks like a Kirby in pain if you do that. Or like a really unhappy Boo. This Pokemon, I hate it, but I love it.
I did send you guys a meme that I found while scrolling through Wiglett photos, and I will describe it to the people at home.
Oh no.
It is a photo of Wiglett, and it's asked if it's really worth it, as it shows a bowl of white noodles.
Yeah. It's just some udon.
So Wiglett is water type, which means that it completely destroys Diglett.
Yes. All hail our new Wiglett overlords.
I will not.
Also, it can just smack you by just whipping its neck body
Neck
thing
around.
around.
Touched by Wiglett's noodly appendage.
This is a reference that almost no one will get, but it looks exactly like the worms from Guild Wars.
That's true, actually.
No one's ever seen
Yeah.
Guild Wars.
Well, Admiral got it, which surprises me, but I'm rolling with it.
I played a lot of Guild Wars. I played Guild Wars 2 before it was released at PAX East. I played the expansion before it was released at PAX East years later. I played a lot of Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars.
I did not care for Guild Wars 2. I liked the first Guild Wars so much more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's, it's kind of like comparing...
Amusingly enough, I, within this past month, reinstalled the first Guild Wars. and was playing that a little bit recently.
Are the servers still up for it?
Oh yeah, they're still up.
I had no idea. I'll have to go back and download that.
You'll have to reinstall it and get some Legendary Defender of Ascalon progress with me.
The more you know.
Get that LDOA.
Yeah.
Wiglett is all three of these are the bomb. These are great news items. I love everything about this.
Yes.
I'm still probably not looking to get Scarlet Violet, but I am excited about all of the Pokemon releases and just seeing them. So
that's fine. Haley and I will get it. I call dibs on Violet since it's my favorite color.
Nice. Amusingly enough, my favorite color is Emerald, and I entirely skipped that generation.
Oh, dang. Oh, that's right. Did I say that, like, Haley really wanted to play, like, Fire Red? I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I have Leaf Green because I bought a bunch of cartridges. And then it turns out that it wasn't Leaf Green, it was Emerald. And she was like, oh, that's so much better.
I don't know if you told that on the podcast or in one of the pre-post shows or just one time when we were hanging out, but I did hear that story.
Yeah, it's a great story.
I didn't. It's a good story.
Good story.
Good story.
Let us know. I'm curious what our general audience opinion is on these new Pokemon games coming out if you're planning on getting them. But more importantly, how do you feel about Wiglett?
I feel concerned.
Because mild concern. Honestly, so far they've been very good at picking their Pokemon reveals because they've all been just awesome. And I don't know if that's just because they've been picking the good ones to release, or if that's because the design team has kind of been nailing it out of the park with good Pokemon recently.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they had an electric mouse shown earlier, and that's been like the only one to me.
Oh, did they? I'm kind of a little disappointed by that, if that's the case.
Oh, you mean Pikachu 2?
Pikachu, like
Pikachu
7?
7, yeah.
Like, even if we don't count Pichu.
Oh, yeah, the like Raichu and Pichu and Plusle and Mintle.
Talking about
I do count
Tommy is the new one? Electric Mouse Pokemon?
Probably.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up, and I
PAWMI.
Wait.
Electric Rat.
Electric Rat.
What's an electric mouse type? But I literally looked up Pokemon Scarlet Electric Rat, and it was the first thing that came up.
Yeah, this is not exciting looking. I am bored by this already. It is in fact Pikachu 7.
Yeah.
But
it's got the cheeks. It looks sort of like a
Teddy Ursa and a Corgi had a baby.
Exactly. Do you mean a Teddy Ursa and the Corgi Pokemon that I can't remember from Sword Shield?
You're right. The Yamper.
Yamper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that Corgi. I named it after
Yamper.
Yamper's good.
I named Yamper after my dad's dog, which is a Corgi Shepherd mix. And so then when they evolved into a taller dog, I was like, oh, that's exactly that dog.
Pommy is definitely it's a red panda inspired thing for sure.
Yeah. But there's Fido, and Fido makes up for all of it.
Yeah, Fido is awesome. It's a bred Pokemon that is a dog. Fido.
So great.
Love it.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you get it?
I ain't laughing, but I get it.
Or Smoliv, Lechonk.
Lechonk, the pig Pokemon. And Smoliv, that is literally just a small olive.
God damn it.
They're so good. So good.
You remember all those memes of like they're just running out of Pokemon ideas? Like that one was like there's literally like just a bag of trash in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
You're talking about Trubber and Garbodor?
Yes.
Trubbish and Garbodor?
Yes. Yeah. That is exactly what I'm talking about.
Mildly in their defense, Grimer and Muck are honestly not better.
Oh, I never said they were. But at least the sentient pile of goo is slightly more inspired than, I don't know, there's a trash bag over there.
I mean, it was based in the U.S., so... that region.
There's Voltorb and Electrode that's like, yeah, just slap eyes on a Pokeball. I'm out of ideas.
Yeah, and like even in
we need one more. I don't know. Turn it upside down. Leave me alone. I'm going on break.
Even Legends Arceus, they have the Voltorb look like their wooden Pokeball,
which I do appreciate that they bothered.
Yeah, I think they
for the
it like had an additional type because of that. I think
it's a grass electric.
Maybe
that wouldn't surprise me.
So yeah, all good stuff there. Yeah.
Yep. Want to do some guest discussion? You got any fun things you want to ramble at us about there,
Admiral? Who are you?
Yeah, tell us about yourself.
The thing that I'm the worst at. I'm Admiral Plays. I stream on Twitch. I do a lot of storytelling and DMing of various tabletop RPGs, as Dag knows. I have one that you can go listen to that I'm going to be releasing new episodes on soon. By that I mean like probably starting at the end of October. I'll probably be putting out new episodes, but there's 14 episodes you can listen to right now if you look up We Suck on Spotify, which is me and 4 very, very talented female friends sat down to play a bunch of Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, and we actually just finished recording season 1 yesterday night, which means now all I have is just a bunch of editing work to get done, so I can release all
halfway
of those.
there.
So, yeah.
Way less than that.
Yeah, way less than that.
Editing is
I'm like a quarter
fun.
of the way there. Yeah. So but that's really it. I mean, like, I stream on twitch.tv/AdmiralPlays, raise a lot of money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and
I was going to say, you better be talking about that charity work you've been doing.
Yeah, all the time. I try to make sure I do a charity a month. Recently, I've been doing like a charity every other month, but that's just because life has gotten in the way, and I can't give it as much attention as I would like to, and the care that it deserves. So that's why I've taken some extra time to do that.
Yeah, life can be like that.
Life is a lot like that, actually.
Yeah.
I am noticing a pattern here of our guests. Past 3 do tabletop gaming or RPG.
Yeah.
Look, that's because I was in charge of putting our guests together, and that's the stuff that I like.
Yeah.
I ran out of thought process there.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, tabletop RPGs are literally the best. Like, if you haven't given them a shot, do. There's nothing that I can recommend more than just letting yourself exist in a non-judgmental zone with your friends. It's really, really good for the brain.
Yeah.
If you don't have friends, you can try finding other people.
If you don't have friends to play role-playing games with, guess what? You're our friends now. Join the Discord.
Yeah, I mean, and there's also a lot of tools in place for that. Like, I know World of Darkness actually just released a thing called, I think it's called World of Darkness Nexus, that actually has tools for finding online play for Vampire the Masquerade, for now Hunt of the Reckoning 5th edition. I believe it's called Nexus. They might have changed the name.
It is still called Nexus. I googled it because I'm now intrigued.
Yeah.
I had not heard of this.
Yeah, so this is a thing that you can do. I think app.demiplane.com/nexus/vampire is the full URL.
Yep, that's what I just found.
Yeah, and you can buy the books there. You can find people online to play with. There's a lot of cool things there.
Or go to a local convention. They're probably going to have board game /TTRPG stuff set up somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Go to your local game store and check out some of the tabletop groups there. I mean,
assuming you have one. The only game store I have is for trading cards.
That's the thing you might run into. And also, it just kind of... Fun fact about a lot of people that are into this kind of stuff. Not super great at socializing in normal spaces.
Please wear deodorant before going anywhere.
Yes, please.
Yes.
And if you're going to eat McDonald's in the con room, please throw it away in a different trash can.
Or just don't eat McDonald's.
Also that, but...
Yeah. But
Get
in
Taco
general,
Bell instead. People will think you're social then. Only social people go to Taco Bell.
They'll at least think you're super cool and awesome, because that's how Taco Bell works.
Yeah.
Is this a sponsor? What the fuck is going on?
No, we have no ads.
Did you know that the Mexican pizza is back for good?
I did. Is it finally released? Because I saw they were bringing it.
It is back again.
Yeah, bring back the Chick Star Taco Bell.
That was a seasonal thing, so.
It was a seasonal thing 1 year.
Yeah.
I really liked that thing.
Looks like there was a year where they had like a different kind of fry every month. That was actually decent.
Yeah,
I like their
but
fries.
The star was always just the nacho fries, honestly.
Yeah.
That was our Taco Bell hour.
Yep, Taco Bell. Haven't had one of those on the show for a while.
I still eat Taco Bell every Friday at work.
Taco Bell, not a sponsor, just delicious.
Just delicious. Honestly true.
I saw online recently the picture showing like the 70s, 80s style, whatever, and the current style. I go, 70s, 80s? That was the style just like 10 years ago. I guess it has been 10 years now, hasn't it?
What, the 70s and the 80s were 10 years ago?
No, like...
you might be misremembering things.
Like, the Taco Bell started having the current design, like, I guess it's been around 10 years now.
Yeah, the current design was, I believe, 2013 is when they switched to the current bell.
Yep, 9 years ago. So, yeah, they had that desert-ish style for quite a while.
Yeah, they went with they had the, like, cantina
Yeah.
thing that they redesigned into.
I super missed the design that looked like the Dixie cups, where it was
yeah,
like just
that was
bright
it.
white
Yeah.
and bright blue and purple. Yeah,
Hardcore 90s look to it.
It was
super 90s.
It was fun when the Taco Bell made a new building to fit the new design, and then someone else bought the old building, and sure, they got rid of all the furniture, but, like, you could still tell.
It was a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
The roleplay and everything like that, Admiral, has been fun the few times that we've gone to it. So I definitely recommend that people check out We Suck, because it's good stuff and there's an actual story there that you can sit down with and have fun with.
Yeah. It was actually very cathartic finishing that off, because as Dag knows, we have a very checkered history of starting these things, getting a few sessions in, and not finishing. And that actually
storied history.
Yeah. And that actually was the first time, even as a DM, that I've finished a campaign. And I think it was the same for all of my players. That was the first time they had actually played through and had an ending. So it was really nice for all of us. There was very, very many tears last night, which was kind of nice.
It is amazing getting to an ending.
Yeah. I think the only campaign that I've ever ended on a actual ending that felt good, other than the one time that I coup de grace the entire party in their sleep because I took first watch. That ended the campaign real quick, let me tell you. But I hated everyone that I was playing with there, so I was quitting anyway, and everyone else kind of hated each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, happy
happy
thought.
People.
Yeah.
The only campaign I've ever had that actually completed was actually a Vampire the Masquerade campaign. So it's kind of entertaining that's how that worked out.
Yeah. It's a very fun system.
I love World of Darkness setting.
Yeah.
We do have, I don't know if I've mentioned this here yet, but we do have a murder mystery one-shot that I am running alongside Rumor, one of our community members, as co-DMs. We are looking for a cast of 5 to 8
players.
Oh, I got the burpees. We're looking for a cast of 5 to 8 players for about 2 to 4 hours sometime around Halloween to play this murder mystery. So if anyone's interested, we have a few people that have signed up already, but there are still signups open in the tabletop club on the Discord. So if that's something you're interested in, look into it. It's going to be very simple. There's basically going to be no system at all to it. It's going to be very roleplay heavy and very like heavy on the investigation side of the murder mystery, where it's going to more depend on you asking the right questions than on you rolling good checks.
Oh, I'm terrible at asking questions.
Well, you could just be there having fun.
That's not allowed.
I say that because it will be a good introduction for people who have not done role playing before to try and ease into it and low stress, low system pickup, just play a character style of role playing. So I think that would be a fun introduction for new people. So you can listen to We Suck, and if you like role playing after that, you can join the murder mystery.
Yes. Be introduced into role-playing games outside of D&D, please.
Yes. The dragon game, as we recently were referring it to. It's fine. It's nice that it's popular and is acting as a gateway roleplay, but I particularly, personally, don't care for D&D.
I will fight you.
I know.
The only thing that I like less than D&D is Pathfinder.
Yeah,
which is basically just
it's
D&D but different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's kept a lot of the stuff that older D&D had, but newer D&D got rid of. And so I'm just like, why is that? I see why they got rid of it.
Yeah.
No, I full on love D&D for what it's meant for, and I will defend it to the end of the earth. This is something me and Deck actually, I think, fundamentally disagree on, that I do not like hyper specific RPGs that are only meant for one thing and one thing only. I loathe them, in fact. With the, obviously the like, exception of the World of Darkness games. But, like, I bring this one up a lot, and, like, it has nothing to do with what it's about, but it's just one that stuck out to me. It's a game called Night Witches. It's one of my father's favorites, which is specifically about playing female fighter pilots in World War II.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, which is a great concept if I'm watching it or reading it or whatever, but, like, I personally do not want to be shoehorned into, like, a very, very specific role for every single time that I play that game.
Yeah. I appreciate things that are focused and do the thing that they're meant to do well, but I also appreciate things that are, okay, here's some tools, be creative, go.
Yeah.
I just don't care for the crunchiness that is in D&D, because it is built out of, originally, war games. So combat takes forever, and I don't find combat to be the fun part of role-playing.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
But that is also why, like, D&D 5 does the wonderful thing that I think most tabletop RPGs should, and that is, if you don't like a rule, get rid of it, which can take a lot of that crunch away. And if we're talking about combat being crunchy, I mean, like, let's not get started on other games that are way worse.
Oh, absolutely. There are far worse games that I've played with you.
Shadowrun. Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk isn't as bad as I was making it out to be. I just did not have a grasp on the rules as much as I should have.
Well, we had a recent conversation in the Discord with a library NPC who was our guest last week, who designs RPG systems himself.
Right.
Talking about how Cyberpunk in that fusion system is rocket tag. It's who gets the first headshot.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Which is, it's kind of realistic in that way, because you're not supposed to be unstoppable, unkillable badasses in a game like that. You very much are gutter trash street punks, which is kind of the goal there. But it is very crunchy.
Yes,
because of that. But if
lots of damage tables.
yeah, but it's nowhere near as bad as Shadowrun.
Oh no, Shadowrun is by and far away the worst at crunchiness.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame because the aesthetic and the setting are awesome.
Yeah. I was like,
The game is just not fun.
yeah, that is the epitome of I love everything about you except for how to use you.
Yup. Can I just lift everything here and shove it into, I don't know, Fate?
Yeah. You probably could. It'd probably be pretty easy to do that.
Yeah.
My friend had good luck using Open Legend for it. That was one that he liked.
Okay.
And then I actually had a lot of fun putting it into Savage Worlds, believe it or not.
Oh, Savage. I haven't thought of Savage Worlds in a while.
Savage Worlds works really well for it, weirdly enough, because of the way that your successes work off of the dice that you have. So having low, essence being like your D4 makes a lot of sense for somebody that's chromed up. It works pretty well.
Yep.
So.
And I know we mentioned Cyberpunk, and I'm going to stealth roll us into our Minish recap, where we talk about what we've done recently, because I see here you've listed that you've been playing a particular Cyberpunk-themed game.
Yeah, so I was playing Cyberpunk 2077, but the thing that I actually wanted to talk about was the anime that came out on Netflix called Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
That's correct.
Yes. And that anime, I swear to God, I don't recommend anime because I don't watch a lot of it. It takes a lot to get me invested in even cartoons in general. Cartoons, anime, Western animation that's in the same style. I have a really hard time getting into them, unless the story is inherently compelling. And within the first 2 minutes of that anime, I was gripped, and I watched all 10 episodes in one sitting. Without getting up to pee, without getting a drink, nothing. I just binged it.
That's impressive.
It was unhealthy, and it was really good. I could not get enough of it, and I hope that they make more of it.
So. With all the talk that I've been seeing around about Edge Runners, I can't imagine that they won't make more of it. Because it has been everywhere recently.
Yeah. Is this an Amazon show, or...
Netflix.
Okay. Probably it's going to get more than.
Yeah, and I will say the other thing that's really cool about it is that both the Japanese dub and the English dub are equally good, which is strange for a Netflix anime.
Which is drawing me to ask: did you sit down and binge it sub and then sit down and binge it dub?
Yes.
One episode at a time. He switched.
I had to see the difference. No, I did watch it all the way through twice. I'm actually on my third watch through a nerd now, so
are you
I am just all over it. Brazilian,
Portuguese,
exactly.
Italian.
No. I think
the Canadian dub is not as good.
Yeah, no, it's garbage.
The Australian dub, though, that was fantastic.
So what is it about Edge Runners that specifically drew you in so hard?
So there's a thing about Cyberpunk in general, both the tabletop RPG and just the setting abroad, that really speaks to me, of the idea of living past your means being the thing that ultimately leads to your demise. Trying to be more than you relatively should be or whatever, just because you want to think that you're special or have this desire to prove that you are, being the hubris and arrogance that takes you down. And it's the first time that I've seen a cyberpunk style media that pulled it off to this degree. Because a lot of what I think most cyberpunk tries to do these days is ask the question of what is human, what does it mean to be human, at what point are you no longer that, whereas this asks the question of what it means to be human, but also why does it hurt so much when you're losing your grip on that. Dealing with that psychosis is a lot more interesting to me than just asking the question of, is this android a human? I think it's an important question to look at.
So it approaches it from the opposite direction. It's not, is this android human? It's, is this person still human?
Correct.
That's an interesting take that I really like.
Yeah.
Huh.
it's one of the things that Cyberpunk Red did really well in general, and as well as the show, but is just the concept of cyberpsychosis, which is like the more chromed up you get, the less of a grip on your own humanity that you have, and it causes all kinds of things to go wrong with you, be it depression or PTSD or the phantom limb pain that people get to this day and stuff like that. All these different things getting kind of put together into one package of this really sucks for you. Just because you were trying to be stronger, better, faster than your enemy, or
the trade-offs of sacrificing those bits for some potential gain, as you see it as a gain, some sort of, that's cool. I wanted to watch it before. Now I need to watch it.
It's so good. They're like 30-minute episodes, except for the first and last, I think. So it's very easy to get it in bite-sized chunks if you need to.
Nice.
Or just watch it 3 times in a row.
Yeah. I'll pull an Admiral on it.
Yep.
I actually just this past week sat down and binged through a television show as well. On Monday, I had some friends over and we hung out and we threw on the first episode of Invincible. And then my friends left and I went, well, I'll keep watching it. And then it was 5 a.m. and I had finished the season.
That's not too unusual for you.
It's not that unusual, but it did happen.
Oh, man.
That show was fun. Have either of you seen it? Any of it?
I have seen all of it, in fact.
Me too. I actually more enjoyed the side stuff that they had in the show.
Yeah, right? A lot of the side, like, world-building stories were a lot more engaging than the actual story.
Yeah.
Which is good, honestly.
Well, like, you gotta have, it's kind of the issue of, what if there's an evil Superman? Well, that's been done so many times at this point now.
A lot.
But, yeah, like, at least they do have all this other stuff going on that is pretty interesting.
Yeah. I watching through it, I had the realization it's not so much that Omni-Man was the evil Superman, as it is that Invincible is actually Superman. Is this sort of a little bit of the takeaway, where the whole point of why Superman is because he was raised by humans.
Right.
And Invincible was raised as a human, that's why he turned out to basically be that universe's actual Superman, as opposed to Omni-Man, who clearly was quote-unquote evil Superman.
Right. I actually agree with that take.
Yeah, it was a good watch. I mean, it's hyper violent, and there was a lot of that, so super hyper violent, which is kind of hard to stomach to a degree. One friend who was there watching it genuinely in that first episode, when the hyper-violent part of the first episode was happening, had to look away and not watch, even though it's animated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's rough. So I can't really necessarily recommend it to everyone, specifically for that reason.
Yeah.
But the story itself was enjoyable, and my absolute favorite character was Darkblood, the demon detective. Just such a good concept that I can't believe that no one has used that before that I have seen.
Yeah.
Well,
I will.
The closest we've really seen is stuff like Hellboy, who's sort of like a detective and is definitely a demon.
Well, apparently he is a lot not good in the original graphic novels. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it was originally graphic novels.
Yeah, so apparently they actually allowed him to be, not a useless person for the anime.
Yeah, his character in the show was spectacular, and I just really appreciate the demon detective as a character archetype.
Yeah. I will actually, on that note, go back and say, there's a lot of blood and gore in Cyberpunk Edgerunners as well, so much to your point, I can't recommend it for everyone. There's also
But-
some gratuitous nudity and stuff like that, so keep that in mind.
So it's very similar to just Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes,
in that
exactly.
regard. Yeah.
You kind of know what you're getting into there.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and if you're familiar with Cyberpunk, yeah.
I am not.
Along the line of talking about like CD Projekt Red type stuff, Witcher 3 is getting another season, so I'm excited for that.
I mean,
You mean The Witcher?
Witcher.
TV
Sorry,
show?
Witcher is getting a third season. That's
Yes,
where the
there we
3
go.
came from.
Yes. I'm very excited about that.
yeah.
Yeah, that show's been spectacular as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad likes that show, so.
Yeah.
I
Actually, in
Some-
CD Projekt Red news, they're also putting out a DLC for 2077 finally, like an actual expansion.
I
DLC.
saw that they're putting out a DLC,
Yeah.
but a lot of people have been wondering if, with the resurgence that 2077 has gotten within the past month, are they only putting out one DLC and testing the waters with that, or are they for sure just doing this? Because it's been real weird on that front.
I'm gonna talk a little bit of spoilers here, if that's okay with you guys. Just giving a spoiler alert to the audience too. They can't do any more with 2077 because of the way they wrote the story. So the one DLC makes sense, but they have said they're committed to expanding upon the Cyberpunk universe. So I have a feeling they're just going to work on like Cyberpunk 2078 for an example of a working title or whatever you would call it.
Whatever they call it, yeah.
And I say that because at the ending of the first one, pretty much no matter what ending you get, the main character still only has like a week to live before he's no longer him, or dies, essentially. So the one DLC, it makes sense that it's like, oh, it's the last job, and then having to move on from there. So I would say that I think they're more focused on a sequel after that one DLC, if I had to guess.
Which sounds... Oh, hi, Kitty. Which sounds just as good. Oh, no, we're not getting more DLC. Yeah, but you're getting an entire new game.
Yeah, which I think would be great. Especially if they continue in Night City, that'd be cool. If they do other locations, that would also be rad as hell. There's no shortage of places they could go with the Cyberpunk universe.
Yeah, just do a Breath of the Wild or
Tears of the Kingdom.
yeah, I was thinking of a different game that's doing the same thing. Silk Song, just like
Being
we had too much stuff. Let's just make a different game.
Yeah, Halo ODST started as a DLC for Halo 3 and then became its own game.
Well, that makes a lot more sense at that time, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the same basic idea. Zyber, do you have anything that you have for your minute recap before we end off the episode?
I played Final Fantasy 14.
How far'd you get?
I'm still in Stormblood.
So, getting close.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. Yeah, no, we talked enough about Final Fantasy 14 already. Nobody
No,
cares.
there's so much more to talk about.
We'll talk about it next week then. How about that?
I don't care.
'Cause we're getting pretty late. Like how?
Oh, it's
where
been
can
an
we
hour
find
and
this
20
episode
minutes.
here? Yeah. Okay. Any last words, Admiral, before we head out, where people can find you, etc.
Yeah, I kind of covered that already, but I don't mind doing it once again. You can find me at twitch.tv/admiral_plays. You can find me at the same handle on Twitter. It's pretty much my name everywhere that you can find places, except for like TikTok, where it's like Admiral X Plays, because they don't let you do an underscore for whatever reason.
That old Xbox XX Admiral plays for 2069 XX.
Absolutely. But no, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys. This is great.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Had a great time, and we will look forward to gaming with you more in the future.
Yeah.
I was just watching a fun dog walk around.